We are live. Great. Uh, so we're gonna try this today. I don't know how successful we're gonna be, but we are gonna give this a try. Um, I am sitting in a director's chair behind my bar, with the blue smoke wafting up in front of me. What's new with you? Because what's new with me is I took a tumble down the stairs, and have did some bad things to my back, did some bad things to my right leg. Nothing broken, so that's good. But yeah, hobbling around on crutches or with a cane is what is in my immediate future. So that's not a whole lot of fun. But we're gonna try and make this work this evening without me having to do much, if any, standing. So you know, we'll see how that goes. Good luck to us, right?
Okay, you can see Keith. So let me know when you need me to move the.
We've got Keith. We've got Keith in. I should be able to reach up and scroll through comments. I can see David is here.
Charity.
Charity, excellent. We've got multiple people. I can lean forward and put some weight.
Ruth says, which lava lamp is the evil culprit?
Well, neither is the evil culprit because neither lamp actually caused the fall. But the new lava lamp, yes, this guy over here, our bluish green lava lamp, which will kick off pretty soon once it decides to get going. That was the one that was in my hands as I went tumbling down these stairs. Somehow I managed to, like just a finger roll with a basketball, managed to deftly loft the lamp onto a flat surface as I was going down, and it landed with nary a problem. It's perfectly fine, no dents, no nothing. Okay, there might actually be a slight dent here in the cap, but now that I'm looking at it. But it fared far better than I did. Yes. So this is the new lava lamp here. You can thank my lovely wife for that. Star says the evil culprit is the carpeting on the stairs, which apparently is loose, and that's not a good thing. So we're gonna have to take care of that. Sigh. All right. Hi. Well, longtime viewers, listeners, whatever that is, might know that we have two of our other longtime listeners, viewers, David and Chris, on, and they graciously gifted us with a bottle of some really nice pisco from their trip from a distillery that they visited on a trip to Peru a couple of years back. And I was able to dig up an article on Pisco from eater.com and reading all about the construction of Pisco and how it's made and the very parochial, provincial fighting between, say, Peru and Chile over what actually is and is not Pisco, and all that sort of thing. Turned out that one of the individuals that is interviewed for that article is, in fact, the master distiller at the distillery where David and Chris visited. And so they have managed to gift us with this lovely bottle, which says Caravedo on it. Mosto Verde, Caravedo Mosto Verde. Yep, see that? Oh yeah, it looks really nice with the blue smoke coming up around it. Yeah, very cool. If you were to buy this pretty much anywhere else in the world, maybe not Mexico, it would say Potron, Potron with an accent mark over, I think, the first O, if I remember right. And they can't do that here in the United States because, well, somebody sells a tequila called Patron, and so, yeah, trademarking and that sort of thing, confusion. So here in the States, getting a bottle of this is Caravedo, which is from the Hacienda La Caravedo. Okay. You may have noticed that we have, from previous episodes, that we do have another Pisco here. This guy, which we had to get him just because he needs to be on the bar, right? I mean, regardless of what the alcohol is in him. So we thought what we would do is we would do a Pisco off. We'll do the traditional Pisco Sour, and then we will decide which one of the Piscos we wish to use in a second drink. And that second drink is a Martin Cade original from Smuggler's Cove called the Sexpert. And then we will switch entirely, and we will dispense with Pisco at that point, and we will move on to a different spirit, and different spirit entirely. And that was the result of a class that we took earlier in this week, an online class. So I will start off with talking a little bit about this last spirit, in the sense of I'm going to ask you a question, and I want to see what your responses are. And yeah, I'm sure you can find it looking it up on the web, but that would be, I guess, cheating. So, we'll see whether or not you can actually come up with this. So, of all of the distilled spirits in the world, what is the number one best-selling spirit type? Right, spirit type. So, here you'd lump in all rums, you'd lump in all vodkas, as different spirit types. You'd lump in, all gins as a different spirit type. All whiskeys would be considered a spirit type. So if you're going to do that lumping in, what? Well, I don't want to tell them what it is.
No, but once you tell them what it is.
So let's see. What do people think is the number one best-selling spirit in the world by volume, in terms of the amount that is sold? As it turns out, it is also by profit. It is also the largest. Yeah. So most profitable and largest amount by volume.
Also the top 3 companies, alcohol companies.
The top
3.
Top 4 most profitable spirits companies in the world.
I thought it was the top 3, yeah. And it is 5 of the top 10.
David says whiskey. Good guess. Charity says rum. I wish. Actually, I probably don't wish, because then prices would go way up on that. So yeah. So it's not whiskey. It's not rum. It's closer to whiskey. And any other guesses? I'm totally sandbagging you guys. Because I had no clue. None. Zero. I had zero clue going into this week that this particular spirit class was number one in the world. Any other guesses? See, I know nobody's going to get. Oh, Keith guesses the vodka. And I was like, okay, I figured someone would eventually guess vodka. You are closer than you might think, because the reason this particular spirit is so we have 2 more. We have Scotch. Well, Scotch is a subset of whiskey.
Right.
And then we have Colleen. Hi, Colleen. So the drinking habits of the particular country that this spirit is predominantly made in are very, very similar to the drinking habits of Russia. Yeah. And as a consequence, large quantities of this are drunk in this particular country. Actually, brandy's a good guess. Gin's a good guess.
No, okay.
But we're gonna just we're gonna call it here. And
oops.
Oh, it's not plugged in. All right, I have to do that. There. Oh, bright light. Dun dun dun. Wow, that's way too bright. Okay, so that didn't work. All right.
I will hold it up to the camera.
The big reveal. What is this? What is this thing? It has Chinese lettering on it. Oh no. Yeah. So this is Baijiu. And Baijiu, right? And it is produced predominantly in China. And there are, 1 billion Chinese people. And this is hugely popular. Hugely popular in China. And apparently, like I said earlier, their drinking habits are similar to those of Russia in that
the host will buy a bottle, and you can't leave until that bottle's empty.
And if the party's going on real strong, the host might break out another 2 or 3 bottles, and you can't leave until all of those bottles are empty.
And if you pass out, you get to skip a round.
Until you wake up. In which case, if the host is still drinking, guess what? You get to start drinking again too.
Yeah.
There's a whole host of reasons why this is in fact true, and we'll talk a little bit more about Baijiu later when we get to the cocktail. But for now, we are going to sip a little. Actually, we're just going to slam a little.
Because that's what you do.
Because that's what you do. You empty your glass.
And then you're supposed to show your glass to show that
it is empty.
You drink it.
Also, a common Russian thing. The Russian thing, turning the glass over as well to indicate that it is empty and you have finished it. And there is a Chinese toast that essentially means what, to empty the glass.
Yeah.
And so that
Dry
is what
glass.
Dry glass, I think, is what it means. Not dried glass, no. So there you go. I'd never heard of the spirit until my friend Zach said, "Hey, we're having a class on it." So I'm like, okay, well, I got to find out what this is. You'll note neither Star nor I actually talked about what we just consumed. There is a saying that what is the saying? The saying has something to do with it taking like 300 shots of Baijiu before you graduate from the what is this to, oh wow, I really like this. For you Irish Scotch drinkers, maybe you can relate in that, maybe your first few sips of Scotch were not, wow, this is yummy. They were, I'm going to have to work on acquiring a taste for this. And we'll also say that the Baijiu that we have is from Taiwan and is a distinct style that is somewhat different than what might be made. Well, it is actually the most popular style in mainland China, but there are multiple other different styles. I think there's 12 main styles. Anyway, So we will talk about that later. Right now, we actually want to have a yummy cocktail in our hands. And so what we're going to do is we're going to make some Pisco Sours. And I'm going to make 2 of those to start with. I do have my recipe here. Bear with me if my brain is a little scattershot tonight. Between some high doses of ibuprofen and the amount of pain in my right ankle, I may be drifty here and not quite as focused. There should be a shout out. I forgot. It should be a shout out. The latest anniversary gift from my mom and her husband arrived today.
Yes.
And so we are now proud owners of another Geek Tiki mug. And yes, this is the child or Grogu. So we have both the official Geek Tiki version and the Tiki Tony's handcrafted version of this mug. And they're both very, very cute. And I think we will be doing probably the last drink we'll be doing in this, the 6-demon bag. We will be doing in that one. Not because I think Grogu is, in any way connected to the 6-demon bag, but because I want to feature that particular mug. All right, so what's in a Pisco Sour? So, first of all, I should probably talk some about Pisco. Pisco is, as David mentioned in the comments, is actually brandy related in the fact that it is a distilled spirit made from grapes. Not made in the traditional way in which you make brandy. If you look up eater.com and Pisco, you'll get a really good article on the making of Pisco. I urge you to read that and not have me sort of try and regurgitate what I read from that article because, well, that was yesterday or the day before. I don't remember. And pain has intervened in between. So therefore, I don't remember as much of that article as I wanted. I do remember poring over pictures that David and Chris sent me of the distillery in Peru, and David and I geeking out a little bit about the stills and trying to figure out what kind of still setup that they had, especially since one of the rules is Pisco has to be single distilled, so single pass, and it has to be done in a pot still. And both David and I are staring at this picture, and there's clearly a column still in this picture. And we're like, what are you doing with this? I don't know. But yeah, it looked like, near as I could tell, that the Caravedo distillery has four very large pot stills, and those are a single pot still with they are a pot still with a single retort system set up for them, near as I can tell from the pictures, which makes sense. What doesn't make sense to me is the column still. I'm certain it makes sense to the distillers there. And you don't want to hear about this. What you want to do is watch me make a drink so that you guys can all drink. Sadly, the Pisco Sour, David, I have to admit, does not require mint slapping. So that's it's just not going to happen for the Pisco Sour. Pisco Sour. All right. So what goes into a Pisco Sour? Pisco, obviously, lemon juice, egg white, and simple syrup, lemon juice, pisco, egg white. Right? That's it. That's all that goes in there. Okay, so we're going to do 2 shakers here. Right. This is really clumsy. I am so out of my element sitting here doing this as opposed to standing and moving and being able to actively gesture and have a good time. So just bear with me as I try this. And this starts with 3/4 of an ounce of simple syrup. Okay, so...
we missed Pisco Sour Day.
Did we?
Yes.
When?
February 6th.
February 6th was Pisco Sour Day. Well, I don't know. Do we need to make one Pisco Sour for every day we missed? No. Okay, let's not do that. 3/4 of an ounce of simple syrup. You may recall from previous shows that the base recipe that I use for daiquiris, which is essentially a rum sour, is 2 ounces of spirit, 3/4 ounce of syrup, 3/4 ounce of sour. For a daiquiri, that's going to be usually a demerara syrup and lime juice. In this case, we're cutting back a little bit on the pisco, and we are upping the sour component a little bit. So the base is simple syrup at 3/4 of an ounce, and then lemon juice. Lemon juice is going to be a full ounce in this case, right? Please tell me that's a full ounce. Yep. I'm really hoping I have enough lemon juice to do all of this.
You have more lemons.
I have more lemons. I can always juice more. That should be comical, watching me try and juice lemons here. I think I got enough, right? Because, yeah, the last drink all requires a 1/2 ounce of lemon juice, so that should be fine. We're good. Okay, so 3/4 ounce simple, 1 ounce lemon juice, and then 1.5 ounces of pisco. And so we're going to start with our Tres Eres Moai Pisco. And I did not put speed pourers in here, so I need to be a little bit more careful. There's 3/4. There's some spilled pisco. There's another 3/4. All right. I didn't even check. This is Pisco Reservado. I didn't even check. I have not looked at this bottle closely, other than, wow, that's a cool bottle to have on my bar. This is Chilean pisco.
Oh.
This is not Peruvian pisco, and by some accounts, that means it's not actually pisco. Huh.
So Ruth mentioned that her once and future roommate had stories about the Pisco feud between Peru and Chile.
Yeah. The United States recognizes both Peruvian and Chilean pisco as pisco. However, the Peruvian government just like a year and a half, 2 years ago, something like that, I think, fairly recently, got a denomination passed. So in the United States, in order for it to be called, I guess it's like Peruvian pisco, it actually has to be made in Peru, which you would think that would be a pretty easy law to pass, but apparently apparently there was issues. So, all right. Next up, so we've got all of the ingredients here aside from the egg. And the egg is important to the Pisco Sour. It is just a sort of, you just can't do a Pisco Sour without the egg. Although, we do have, and maybe if this session doesn't go terribly long, we did buy some Fee Brothers non-egg alternative for shaken drinks. Apparently you just throw a few drops in here and it makes a nice head on a nice foam like an egg does. I have not even opened that bottle yet, so I cannot tell you whether or not that works particularly well. But what we do need to do here is we need to separate some egg whites. So I am going to reach over here. Grab that. I need something to crack these on. Are y'all enjoying watching me kind of fumble around my bar because I can't move? Is this enjoyable to you guys? All right, so fresh egg. Always start with fresh egg. Crack the egg. And we're going to go egg white in the egg cup. Just like that. There we go. And we'll just drop the egg yolk in there. Fortunately, my trash can is here. Bar towel is right in front of me. There we go.
Chris is trying to poison David with peach in the drink tonight.
Oh.
But it has mint, so he'll be okay.
Okay. So Chris is serving something to David that has peach in it. Is that like a peach puree or something? Super secret surprise. I will actually be using peach in the Sexpert cocktail later on, but I'll be using peach bitters. So, all right. And then we're going to do the second egg. Crack. Come on. Come on, baby. There we go. I would really like to be able to wash my hands here in between doing this, but I'm not sure that that is going to be really in the cards. I can wash them off with a bar towel. You get me a wet bar towel or paper towel or something? Here's a paper towel. Oh my gosh, we are about dead on the paper towels. Wow. Okay, so there we're going to set the egg yolks aside. We'll use those for something else. Wow. Wet paper towel. Relying heavily upon my wonderful barback this evening, who is basically doing everything, because, yeah.
Yeah, so I did the juicing and the ice and all the setup and all that stuff, which we usually share.
Yep.
And
I complained the other day that I feel so lame, and then realized it's because I am, in fact, lame. Like, in the literal meaning of the term, I am lame. All right. Right, so this probably has the egg yolk in it. Yep, I can tell that has egg yolk in it. And then this has egg yolk in it. All right. This goes away. We could do this as... So classically, this is just done with a single shake. Wow, the purple has decided it wants to be phallic. Thanks. Thank you. That's really uncalled for. I usually just dump some ice in here and shake it up. We're actually going to do a double shake with this. So I'm going to throw a scoop of ice in. And we will shake this. Pop that, and then what we're going to do is we are going to strain this into here. Right. I know this seems weird, right? We're going to strain this. See, we don't have a whole lot of foam there. That's because the ice is punching through and messing with the foam generation. So now what we're going to do is take this, put that there. I'm going to throw the ice into the sink. Wow, I can reach the sink from here. Woohoo. Okay, and then we're just going to do this all over again. Lift this back up. And now with it cold, this should hold tighter and make it easier to shake without having it explode everywhere. Woohoo! And if I've done that right, we should get a much nicer foam from this. It is also remarkably harder to shake from a sitting position. Wow, I'm out of breath and that's not happy.
Chris made a Cuban peach.
Look at that.
Gave the,
Look at that head
oh,
of foam on
pretty.
that. That's rocking.
Yeah.
And I owe it to Chris at Green Zone for showing me that trick to do that.
Right.
Okay, we do need some bitters, and if you will grab from my bitters compartment, the one on the far right. Nope, behind that. There you go. That's the Angostura. Classically, it's a 3-drop design on the top. Oop, there's 1, 2, 3. Sorry about that first drop getting away from me there. Getting a second. And then taking a cocktail pick, and you can run a cocktail pick through the dots, and you get sort of a flower pattern, which I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see or not. Probably not, maybe. Yeah, I don't want to hold this up over my computer. So, but we can stash this onto the light box, right? We'll see how that looks.
See if
this looks better. There you go. That's just way too much light. Nope, still not working. We're gonna have to figure out that light box and how to make that work. So that is our Pisco Sour made with Peruvian Pisco. I'll let that sit for a moment. Now we're gonna do the exact same thing, but we're gonna do that over here. I mean, I'm usually sort of forgetful. You all know I forget to garnish things appropriately, nutmeg being the worst culprit there. But yeah, tonight it's just going to be hilarious trying to do all this. Okay, shake this with ice. All right, so that's nice and cold. Strain back in here. Engage in twisting activity that I'm sure is great for my back.
Well, you can tell that you hurt your back as well.
Didn't I say that I'd hurt my back as well? Yeah. All right. Try this again. Oh, yeah. This should also be done into chilled coops. And these coops have been stashed in the freezer, but at this point we're like a half hour in, so they're probably not chilled anymore. That's okay. It'll all be fine. Trust me. Y'all trust me, right? And here we go. A Pisco Sour made with actual Peruvian Pisco. There is also some thought that the Pisco Sour should sit for a minute or two before being served and let everything settle. So you'll note that our Peruvian has a very distinct foam line now, which is, you know, easily 1/3 of an inch, I think. And it's not quite as visible here on the one that is freshly shaken, as that still needs to settle out some. But while that is waiting, I'm going to go ahead and do the Angostura. See if I can get 3 drops this time instead of 4. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. And then we'll drag this through them. And a little faster drag makes a little longer tail on them, which makes them just a little bit prettier. Okay, there we have it. We have 2 Pisco Sours, one from Chile, unintendedly from Chile, and one from Peru. They are slightly different colors. I'm sure the foam will settle out on this one a little bit better. At least I hope so. But so now it's time to take a sip.
Okay.
Right? See, pretty.
That is pretty.
That's tasty. That is bright and tasty. Me likey. See, and
That's yummy.
And that's with the Chilean.
Mm-hmm.
So can I just not shake this as long? What's the deal? Not getting as much of a head on here. I'm sure it still needs a little time to settle out, but I'm not going to wait because we need to move on. Oh, the flavor of the Pisco is so much more pronounced in that one. Oh my.
Oh.
This has so much more character than that does. I mean, I'm certainly no brand ambassador for Caravedo. And I'm certainly never going to be a brand ambassador for Tres Aires. Although, God, what a cool bottle. I mean, come on.
This is like...
Night, day, right?
So, you know when you have like a cinnamon something, and then you have like an allspice something. You know, there's cinnamon in both, but there's just so much more going on with the allspice.
Oh, like
So,
the difference between using a cinnamon syrup and using allspice jam in a cocktail. I can see that.
So that's a comparison because
I was also thinking,
so much more going on.
The difference between, something like Bacardi Silver, and it's like very single note, column still, clean rum that's really designed to give you the essence of rum, but isn't really a flavor forward rum. And you compare that to something like, say, the Angostura 1919, which has tremendous flavor, still column, still produced. That would be the difference between these two. If this is the Bacardi Silver, this would be the Ango 19. And this is quite amazingly yummy. And the Angostura adds just a little element to this that makes it even better. That slight bitterness on both the nose and in the taste is delightful. I think both of these would be truly missing something without that Angostura added. That is just a cleaner.
Yeah.
This almost tastes daiquiri-like if you used a really light rum.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the Peruvian clearly, there's no mistaking what beverage that is. That's not rum in any way, shape, or form. Apparently, I'm not getting either one of those, which is fine because that means that I can go ahead and make the next drink. I think we have a clear winner here that we're going to be using the Caravedo, the Caravedo actual Peruvian Pisco for this cocktail. So there was a book launch party some number of years back at Smuggler's Cove, and Martin Cate, and I do not remember what the book or the author. This was a creation by Martin Cate. So you're going to see the standard matching of lemon juice and pisco, but the sugar component is a lot more complex. So what we're going to do is grab another one of these plastic guys. Ta-da. And we are going to start with a ½ ounce of passionfruit syrup. All right, here we go. So ½ ounce. on. Nice thick. There we go. You're using up basically the last of my passion fruit syrup, which is fine. I have more passion fruit concentrate that I can make into syrup. Okay, so ½ ounce of that. And this bottle is really sticky, so I'm just going to sling it over here toward in the general direction of my sink. Next up is a ½ ounce of falernum. And in the Martin Kate version of this, they actually specify Dr. Taylor's Velvet Falernum, made by Foursquare. That bottle is elsewhere currently, so, and what I have on the bar is the Bitter Truth Golden Falernum, so I'm going to go ahead and use that rather than attempt to go find that other bottle and bring it here, unless you really want to see me hobble around with a bottle in hand on crutches.
No.
Which you're not going to see that anyway because my wife won't let me. All right, so there's a ½ ounce of the falernum. That goes back here. So that's our sweet component. We're going to go a full ounce there of the sweet component. Now the falernum does have some spicy elements in it, and so so it doesn't count entirely as a sweet component. We're only going a ½ ounce of the lemon juice, which is why I knew this would actually make it. This seems a little light to me on the sour, but I do have to remember that the passion fruit also has sort of a sourness to it. Almost a bitter component. There is no egg white in this, so I don't have to worry about doing a double shake or anything along those lines. There's no egg yolk in it either, so I better not touch that. 1½ ounces of Pisco. So we're going to go grab the Caravedo. I'm assuming that there are comments coming in and I'm just not being able to keep up. So we're just going to reach over and grab some Edinburgh gin. Woof, pop, pop, pop. A ½ ounce of this. So it is slightly amusing to me that Smuggler's Cove as a book is an amazing book, and it helped really jumpstart my deep dive into tiki. And if you are at all interested in tiki, and rum, I heartily suggest going out and buying this book. But what I find amusing is that with all the details of the various different types of rum and how how different rum is produced and different classification systems and all that detail, and using that classification in the drinks themselves. So you can look up a drink and it'll say 2 ounces of this kind of rum, and you can go to the classification system and see what rums fall into that category. All of that detail. And then for drinks like the Saturn or the Sexpert, you get gin. And there's no specification beyond that. It's like, do you want some Old Tom gin? Do you want Genevieve? Do you want an American gin? Do you want English dry gin? Doesn't matter. Use some gin. Like, okay, so we're just using the Edinburgh gin just because it's here. It's the first thing that got grabbed. So we're going to go ahead and use that. So that is it that goes in here, aside from 6 drops of Bitterman's Burlesque Bitters. I don't have Bitterman's Burlesque Bitters. So yeah, I know. It's like, what? There's bitters that you don't have? Look, I only have several dozen bitters. I don't have like several hundred. So it also recommends, if you don't have those bitters, to use whatever fruit bitters you might have on hand. And so this is where I'm going to actually get up off my chair.
No.
Yes. I'm going to lean over here. And we have some plum bitters, right? Plum is a fruit. And let's see, this is rhubarb. That's not a fruit. Peach, that's what I was looking for. We're going to use plum and peach bitters here as my closest facsimile to 6 drops of the burlesque bitters. Now, these obviously have dasher tops, which is going to make this a little more difficult. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a sip out of my jigger. Oh, that's tasty. Do a couple of those.
The burlesque bitters flavor text is a spicy little tart that is sure to tantalize your taste buds.
A spicy little tart, sure to tantalize your taste buds. Okay. Hey, Martin Kate says if you don't have burlesque bitters, use a fruit bitters. So that's what I'm going with. I'm going with the man. I'm gonna reach over.
So Chris used Probitas in her drink.
Hardly ever a bad choice is Probitas. That's going to give you, I mean, it'll give you the Jamaican funk because half of that is Hamden, and the other half is the Foursquare. So yeah, that'll work. All right, so here's my one-to-one combination of plum and peach bitters, and we're just going to go 6 drops of that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And here's where it comes into being that I happen to have some of the Bitterman's bitters, and I know that their medicine droppers are much larger drops than these are. So I'm actually going to double this and do another 6 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, bitters are a strong thing, so I may have just completely overshot this. I doubt it. I don't think so, but we'll give it a try. And
we have a Bonita.
Hey, Bonita. You missed out on the fun and games, me talking about him being injured and that sort of thing, but hey, we do what we can, right? Okay, we're just going to add a full thing of ice here. Goes in, 1 scoop. 1 scoop. Lid this up. Shake from the chair. I did have visions of me shaking cocktails and shaking vigorously enough that I was just going to go falling over backwards and injuring myself. And so you'll note that I am not shaking front and back. I am leaning and shaking side to side. So the chair isn't going to go anywhere. All right, nice, loud. This shaker is nice and frosty on the outside. We are going to strain this into a coupe. Coupe. By the way, congratulations to the KU basketball team. They won their first round and are moving on. They are ranked. They're a 3rd seed in the tournament. And considering that we've lost, 2 number 2s and a number 1 seed already, I mean, yeah, the number 1 seed, by the way, was Illinois. And that totally busted my bracket because I had Illinois winning it all. So, wow. So I'll watch KU and root for them and hope that turns out. Are you done with the other 2 Pisco Sours?
Yes.
Oh, no. I was hoping to actually get a drink.
Nope. You'll have to make another one later if you want one.
I keep talking. So, I don't recall there being a garnish for this, and I'm not sure what would be an appropriate garnish for this, never having made this or tasted it previously. I could throw a mint leaf in it. That might be pretty, just a single mint leaf.
We do finally have new mint.
Yep, so the mint in the jar lasted about 4 weeks with relatively frequent changing of water every couple of days. So that's still pretty impressive for a makeshift herb garden, right? It's still a little damp, so I'm just going to dry that a little bit. Here we go for you, David. We're going to smack that around. Just drop that right in there. I think that looks kind of pretty. Not that you can tell, you can see this vaguely orangish thing with a green thing sitting on it. Yeah, so sorry for the distance. I can't lean forward into the camera the way I would normally do, but there we go. This is the Sexpert by Martin Kate.
Made for Susie Bright.
So if the Pisco Sour really showed off the Pisco as it's supposed to, this is an example of how flavors will meld together into something totally unexpected. This does not taste of pisco, but you can tell that there is any other beverage there would not make that flavor that is
Right.
resulting from this. And it is quite tasty. The passion fruit does come through.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little passion fruit forward. The bitters seem fine to me. I think
Mm-hmm.
that worked out fine in terms of the amount of bitters in here. Um, this is not one of those that is going to evolve over time on your
Mm-mm.
palate.
No.
It does fade to almost a straight up juice
A
taste
little bit of
finish.
tart.
Yeah, I mean it's certainly not overly sweet, which I thought it might be a little bit, but no, that's actually quite lovely. That would be quite refreshing on a nice summer or spring day. So I'm quite tasty. It was a little on the sticky side, um, but wow, Martin. That's one of the things that Martin seems to. If I had to characterize his drinks, I think Martin specializes in those drinks where the the sum is more than the parts, but you don't necessarily. Um, Maybe his drink. If I have any, it's not really a critique. It's just the style of his drinks happen to be, hey, let's merge all these flavors into this flavor, and a little less of the flavor evolve over time. But this is a there's a reason why the man is the man. So there we go. There's another glimpse into Martin Cate's making of cocktails. So Green Zone is a bar and eating establishment in the district, and they are open for business at reduced seating these days. And Chris is a phenomenal bar manager there over at Green Zone, and they have a wonderful relationship with Habitation Vellier, which are the people that are responsible for bringing in Clarions to the U.S. and for a number of very interesting bottlings of some really fantastic Jamaican rums from Hamden and Worthy Park and a few other places. They also have brought in this line of rums called the Transcontinental Rum line, and there is, if you hand this, yeah, right. So here is one of the boxes for the Transcontinental Rum line. So this is 4 pieces of box material that are held together with this nice piece of rope. It's kind of a cool packaging thing for them. And there is, what is like 40 different bottlings from the TCRL rum line. And these are either single cask. This is a single cask. Some of the others are not single cask, but they are all limited editions. So that, once this line goes, you'll never get another of that. So we went ahead and decided we needed to support Green Zone, and we wanted to add some rums to our collection in order to celebrate our anniversary. So we picked up 4 of the TCRLs from Green Zone, who is selling them by the bottle. You have to buy food. You cannot just buy bottles from them. So we got 2 Fijis. One is a single cask. One is a non-single cask, which is the red one that you, right? Which she has not yet shown. There we go, the Fiji 2014. You'll note that she was also holding up an Australian and a Guadalupe rum. And so we have opened all of these, and they are tasty. They are very distinct from one another. Even the 2 Fijis are very different from one another.
I really like the Guadalupe.
Star says she really likes the Guadalupe, and I don't know about anybody else drinking the Guadalupe, but certainly poured straight out of the bottle, I get an initial sort of nose of agave, of that sort of vegetable sense that you get from agave. Maybe it's not truly agave, but it's that vegetal sense. Um, so they're just very different rums. And I happen to like Fijian rums, not as much as my dear love for St. Lucian rums, but these were nice additions to the rum line. We also we needed a few things from some more standard rums from the district and So we did pick up a few other things while we were restocking the bar because we could get our hands on some stuff from S&R, who we love the guys at S&R. Vinny and Ray from S&R are just brilliant and lovely folk, and always willing to just talk with you about whatever spirit you happen to be interested in. And they're also great when it comes to wines, and will be willing to help you. And S&R in the district, definitely one of my favorite liquor stores, if not my favorite liquor store in the district. And we picked up a couple of rums from them, including one of the Diplomatico limited series. Diplomatico is doing a series featuring different stills that they have, and this is featured their number 3 pot still. And so we had to pick that up. We just had to. Oddly enough, it wasn't that expensive either. I mean, this is one of the nice things. If you can get a limited edition release of a rum for, what, $40, something like that? Oh, I'm sorry. Different rum. I was thinking different rum. That Diplomatico is about 90. So that's sorry. Is the Plantation Peru?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's more normal. Okay, so the Plantation Peru, which does not taste like Pisco, by the way. So who knew?
This is their black label line.
Right. So they have a line of rums. Well, we could talk about Plantation later. We could devote an entire episode easily to Plantation rums and their bottlings and how Plantation does things. But we picked up a few more rums. That does bring us to about 130 rums or different rum expressions. So, I crossed that threshold, hitting 130. So that kind of makes me sort of happy. Various other things that we've learned this week about rum and other spirits. But the big thing was learning about Baijiu. And we attended a class from Zach Faden and Derek. Totally going to lose his last name. Star will pull it up for me. And Derek has written 2 different books on Baijiu. On sitting there and talking to someone about a spirit that I knew absolutely nothing about. This is a strange spirit. I mean, it uses very different distillation and fermentation techniques. So they do actually what's called a dry fermentation for some of the styles of Baijiu, which I'd never heard of being able to do a dry fermentation. So that was just like, what? Derek Sandhouse, that's it. So it's just like mind blowing. You think you know something about the distilling process from delving deep into a particular spirit, and then somebody comes along and blows your mind with how they do it in a different spirit. And Baijiu has been distilled for like forever in China. So it's one of the oldest of these spirits on the planet. Derek went into a discussion of 4 sort of main types, noting that there were many others. There's a light aroma, a heavy aroma, a rice, and a sauce style of Baijius. And we happen to have... Oh, right. Okay, so this is the light. His company actually produces a strong aroma variant of the Baijiu. And the cocktails that we had were all intended to be made with the heavy aroma Baijiu. And so our Baijiu was a little weird in those cocktails. They were fine. They were in fact yummy, but the different styles of Baijiu have very, very different characteristics to them. And the style that he produces, a much more almost Jamaican rum style to it, whereas I get a little bit of sort of the Genevieve notes, almost a malted wine element off of this particular Baijiu. Six Demon Bag as a cocktail was created by Greg of How to Drink. We'll put you another link there. Although, if you're not watching Greg's How to Drink, I can't tell you anymore to go watch him. He does good stuff and has fun doing it. but we didn't have any Baijiu, so I don't even remember what I did in place of the Baijiu. So tonight we're going to revisit the six demon bag, and we're going to make it right. Um, we're going to use actual Baijiu with this. However, the one quibble I'm going to have is that I am going to alter the proportions of rum and Baijiu that are in the cocktail. I do not want the rum to overpower the sense of the Baijiu from the cocktail. And so we're going to up the Baijiu and drop down the rum proportions a little bit. But otherwise, we're going to essentially follow the the path that Greg does on how to drink. And Greg also shares a love for tiki drinks, and so you can catch some of his broadcasts. He's also an avid gamer, and if you can fall down a rabbit hole watching his stuff. I categorically refuse to watch his live gaming sessions because if I'm going to be doing live gaming, I'd rather be doing it myself rather than watching other people. But
You ready? Lean forward.
I'm ready to lean forward. I'll even lean way out of the chair to make it easier for you. Okay. All right.
Gets a little crowded back here with the chair.
Yeah, just a tad. All right, so what are we doing? Six Demon Bag. If you did not catch the earlier broadcast, so the Six Demon Bag is a cocktail that was made famous from the movie Big Trouble in Little China. When asked by Jack Burton what's in the cocktail, Egg Shen responds with something like, wind, fire, spirits, all that good stuff. We're actually going to go a little more prosaic here, and we're going to go with some pineapple juice to start with. So here we go. All right, let's start with this. Pineapple juice. Oh, great. Come on. Pineapple juice. We need ½ ounce pineapple juice. Oh, let's not do that. No, bad news. That's got bitters in it. I don't want to waste those bitters either. Oh, I know what I can do. Huh. I'll just do that. That'll work. Okay, ½ ounce. Yes, I should clean my jigger between these. I'm not going to. Sue me. All right. Or please don't. Don't actually sue me. That would be bad. That would be really sad if there was something that happened here that made you want to sue me. All right, 1 ounce of lime juice. I'll be with the lime juice. It's over here. 1 full ounce of lime juice. I'm doing this out of order again. I should have done the syrup first. There's a full ounce of lime juice. One of the other nice things about How to Drink is he doesn't show you cocktails. He also does some syrups and that sort of thing. So and the reason I bring this up is because one of the things he does very well is making things like ginger syrup. And while I did not use his formula for making ginger syrup, I kind of like the way that he approaches his ginger syrup. And so we'll have to do that at some point. So you can always just scan through his various broadcasts to see the ones where he's actually making an ingredient. And that's kind of cool. All right, ½ ounce ginger syrup. There we go. 2 dashes of Tiki Bitters. Okay. Tiki Bitters. I can reach those.
Can you reach them? I can get them.
I can get it. I just have to move the chair, move forward. There's the Tiki Bitters. Dun, dun, dun. At some point, I'm going to have to get me another bottle of these Tiki Bitters. But not right now. Good. It's not a pressing concern, hon. There's no need to run right out and buy. Oh, man. What did I do? Lose all my arm strength, too?
Need help?
I need help. I cannot get this bottle open. So there, that may have to be run under hot water. That's all right. There's other ingredients that need to go in this. So while she's working on opening the bitters bottle, we're going to put Baijiu and rum in this. So originally the recipe calls for 3/4 ounce of Baijiu. And he's using a Baijiu that is like 60%, which is not at all uncommon for Baijiu. The one that I have is 56%, and I'm actually going to double that. I'm going to go with a full 1.5 ounces of the Baijiu here. So there's 3/4 of an ounce. And there's another 3/4 of an ounce. It is still pretty limited in what varieties you can get and where you can get them. So getting yourself a bottle of this might be a little difficult. The other thing I would say is that if you don't know what you're getting, if you haven't looked into Baijiu, it would be very easy to get a bottle, I think, of something that you did not like, and that would be kind of sad. So I think I would advocate for doing a little research. Eventually, the Museum of Distilled Spirits is going to put their classes online, and you could look up the class on
I also
Baijiu.
put a link to drinking Baijiu.
Oh, the books?
His book and the website.
Oh, okay. And that would, so yes, it's not so much a buyer beware. It's just that there's such a great variety in this spirit that you might want to know what you are buying. And given that a lot of the labels are going to be in Chinese, that's going to be really difficult for you without some prior knowledge. So there you go. But let's see, where am I? I put the Baijiu in. I have not put the Tiki Bitters in, so we're just going to go ahead and do that. 2 ounces, 2 dashes of Tiki Bitters. There's 1, and there's 2. And you know, this is the medicine dropper that I was referring to that is a substantially larger size, so that one of those drops is substantially bigger than the little itty-bitty medicine dropper that I have for the bar. All right. So there's supposed to be 2 3/4 ounce of spirit in this. And the other, what would normally be 2 ounces, would be the Appleton Estate 12-year. This is what was in the original drink. That's what we're going to use. But obviously we have to cut back the 2 ounces to 1 1/4 ounces in order to get the same proportions. So that will be 3/4 of an ounce. And then 1/2 ounce. Did I do that right, everyone? So I went with 1.5 ounces of the Baijiu, and then I went with 1.25 ounces, right, of the Appleton Estate. Together, that's 2 3/4 ounces. Yes? Someone check my math? Hopefully. I'm going to assume that my math is actually correct. All right. It is a 6-demon bag. There are 6 ingredients in this: pineapple juice, lime juice, ginger syrup, tiki bitters, Baijiu, and rum. 6 ingredients. I am actually going to only put 6 cubes in this. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cubes. Greg does a full scoop of ice. Oh, actually, he doesn't use scoops. He does his usual, which is a single large rock, and then he takes a second large rock and then just cracks it and puts it in here. But then he poured it into a teapot with some dry ice and did all that sort of stuff. Even if I were up to it, I'm not going to be using the dry ice tonight. So it just seems a little excessive. But what we are going to do is we're going to pour some crushed ice into our Grogu mug, and we are going to pour it over that. So I don't need a tremendous amount of ice in here for this. I don't know if you could hear it, but there was a definite sound change as I was shaking that. And that's because more and more of that ice is being broken up and diluted into the cocktail. So that goes away in the sink. We're going to take our Grogu mug, scoop. Putting some ice in Grogu. Grogu's visiting Hoth. Probably a bad idea for somebody who's patterned after a guy that likes swamps. All right, I need a strainer for this. Do I have a strainer? Yep, right here. Use the same strainer. Why not? Note, lava lamp is warming up some and doing its stuff. And then we're just going to strain this in. 6 demon bag. Well, you know, that's pretty awesome. That's just about up to the wash line here in the mug, so you know that seems like a good call. I think some mint would be not amiss here. So we're just going to find a nice mint sprig. Oh, this looks particularly kind of wonky, so we're going to do that. I could just do it like here. Look, there's a single hair coming out of his head. What do you think? No? Maybe that's not the right thing to do? Okay. Oh, we'll need a straw. Sorry about the lack of garnishing. That tends to involve a little bit more cutting and skewering of things, which is done a lot easier when you can stand. And that's just not where I am at the moment. I need a straw. Can I reach my straws? Not without standing up. So I'm going to leave this task to my dear wife. So we have Grogu here, a sprig of mint coming out of the top of his head. She looks very odd, I have to admit. I think more sprigs of mint probably would have been a little more aesthetically pleasing coming out of poor Grogu here. While she's doing that, I'm going to take another drink. Another sip of this.
Let's do a green one. I was looking for the lightsaber one, but I couldn't find it.
We do have a lightsaber straw from Sipsmith, and that would have been
Surfside Sips.
Surfside Sips. Yes, sorry. Oh, look, there we go. So there's the look. It's doing its thing. It's very bright. I think that's causing part of the problem. All right, so we're just going to stick that straw in there. Ta-da. And then we're going to take a sip of this. And this is the actual 6 demon bag made with actual real Chinese Baijiu. So let's give this a taste with the Baijiu kicked up a notch. That is fun. Oh, hello. Sorry about that. Here we go. Okay, now we're back live. I don't know what happened there. We lost the video connection. We were pretty much done anyway. I was searching around for a way to end the conversation. Hopefully you got the comment about drinksafe.com. I was beginning to...
No, I don't think so.
Nope, nobody got that? Oh, well, that's a bummer.
You were talking about the description of the drink, that it was very earthy.
Oh, okay. So we didn't actually lose the live connection until much later on this end. So I don't know who all saw this, but this is just an addendum to say, well, sorry, that was an abrupt end to the previous video. That was not our intention to do that, obviously. We did 3 drinks this evening. We did the Pisco Sour, we did the Sexpert, and we did the 6 demon bag. The 6 demon bag is not to my wife's liking. She's like, it's okay, kind of. It has very definitely sort of earthy jungle moss and decay kind of flavors. I think I'm going to have to play with this a little bit, and maybe I will try and take this flavor profile and morph it into something very Lovecraftian, because that seems very appropriate for a Lovecraftian cocktail-themed bar. The other thing we were mentioning as we went off the air is DrinkSafe. DrinkSafe.com is a website that talks to you about the various things you can and should not put in cocktails and why, and tells you how to do things safely, So talks a little bit about using dry ice, which is where it came from, because the dry ice was originally used to make the 6 demon bag to get that misty kind of effect from it. So urge you, if you're interested in playing around with cocktails and doing funky things with their appearance in particular, so using different kinds of dyes and that sort of thing. If you're interested even in fat washing and how long things should last and all that sort of thing, it's all available on drinksafe.com. So urge you to check that out. There should be a link to that in the previous video, even if in the comments for that, even if we didn't actually talk about it in the previous video. So this live portion here may not actually get posted. This may just die. I'm not sure it actually needs to be up there, but
we'll post it for a while.
This is us signing off. I need to go put my foot up because it's swelling to unusual sizes and it's not good. And we will talk to you guys next week, and hopefully I might be able to actually stand for the drink session next time. So this is us signing out. Big thank you once again to David and Chris for actually giving us a bottle of real Peruvian Pisco. And prompting me to look a little closer at the bottle of Pisco I had and realizing that it's not actually from Peru. Huh, who knew? Anyway, that's it for us. This is Lovecraft Cocktails signing off. That was number 49. We are getting real freaking close to the 1 year anniversary of doing this.